Hello, welcome. This is Insti and I'm finally playing Discworld Noir. It's been interesting to get this working. It was easier than I thought. Fortunately, somebody actually made a working exit that makes it quite easy. I'll get into that. But first things first, what is Discworld? Well, Discworld is a comic fantasy book series, and it was written by English author Terry Pratchett. It's definitely interesting book series, and no. And this game, now get into the Discworld Noir game, was released in 1999 by, what was it? Well, GT Interactive was the publisher, but the developer was Perfect Entertainment, the PC version. It's in 3 CDs, and then it was later released in made by Teeny Weeny Games for PS1 or PlayStation 1. This is a noir type of game, obviously, with no name, and adventure puzzle game. Although the puzzle parts, if I remember correctly, there is not that many of those. Basically, most of the things go through dialogue, and you are choosing right things to say to right people. Well, lots and lots of dialogue. Fortunately, with a good voice acting, so you don't have to hear me reading those things. You can enjoy the characters. So you go places and talk to people, get the story move on, and with sarcastic tones, comedy, whatnot. There's no way to get this digitally at the moment. Not GOG, not anywhere. So either I don't know how much they cost today to buy the disc versions. PlayStation might be cheaper. I don't know, I haven't checked it. But anyways, I hope the sounds and everything is okay, so let's jump in.
I've had some bad days since I started work as a private investigator. But I'd never woken up dead before. It all started the week before, on a cold and wet Sectober day in Ankh-Morpork, the oldest and most depraved of all the cities on the Discworld. But hey, you've gotta love it. I'd been working as a PI for a little over a month, and business was slow. Hiring an investigator to look into your business requires trust, and the amount of trust in Ankh-Morpork wouldn't fill a cup. And it's a small cup I'm talking about. Sure, people trust that you don't get on the wrong side of the patrician. People trust that you don't walk into the shades alone. People trust that the Assassin's Guild will fulfill their contracts or double your money back. Yeah, people even trust death. Just don't ask them to trust their mothers.
Mr. Lewton?
If I'm not, I should fire the guy who painted the door.
So this is what a private investigator looks like. I expected someone more heroic.
Heroism costs extra. What can I do for you, Miss...
Mrs., actually. And the name is Carlotta.
Okay, Mrs. Actually. Carlotta it is. What's a girl like you doing out in a night like this?
I want to hire you, Mr. Lewton.
Please, call me Lewton. Mr. sounds so formal.
How much do you charge for a simple investigation?
I don't know. I've never had a simple investigation. A tricky one is 20 a day.
I'll give you 200 in advance, plus expenses.
For 200, I guess I should treat you with some respect.
Oh, I wouldn't ask a guy like you to attempt the impossible.
What's the case?
I want you to find a man named Mundy.
Why do you want to find Mundy?
Do you know him?
No, and this case will go a lot faster if you let me ask the questions.
You like to be in control, don't you, Lewton?
If you don't pull the strings, then you're the puppet. Tell me about you and Mundy.
I've been a lonely woman, Lewton.
You amaze me.
You'd be surprised.
Shocked, maybe, but not surprised.
Mundy is my lover, Lewton. Or used to be. He's been away for a while, over in Sort. He came back to Ankh-Morpork a couple of days ago on the Milka. But he didn't come to see me. I think he may be having an affair. You're wondering whether my husband knows about it.
Actually, I was wondering when you were going to give me the money.
My husband passed away several years ago.
I hope the poor guy was smiling at the time. Is there anything you can tell me about Mundy that might help me find him?
He's got blue eyes, brown hair, and a black heart. You'd like him.
Has he got any friends in Ankh-Morpork?
Does anyone?
How tall is he?
I don't know. I don't picture him standing up.
What was Mundy's business in Sort?
I don't know. I never asked about his work, and he never told me.
Must be a very straightforward relationship.
As simple as they come.
Where can I find the ship he came in on?
Down at the wharf.
Have you been there yourself?
I avoid places like that. Women and seamen.
Forget I asked. This is a bad neighborhood for you to come into alone, Carlotta.
I can take care of myself.
I believe you.
Good. Trust is important.
I said I believed you. I never said I trusted you.
Don't you like me, Lewton?
I like a lot of things. I like dogs, but I wouldn't trust one not to bite me.
I won't bite.
Shame. I haven't been bitten in a long while. I'd better get started on your case. Where can I contact you?
I'll be in touch. Be seeing you, Lewton.
I hoped I would see her again, because she still hadn't paid me. Still, it wasn't every day that a beautiful woman offered me a case. Frankly, it wasn't often that anybody offered me a case. And 200 would certainly help pay the rent, if I had anything left over from my bar bill.
So, I'm back. Yeah, you may notice there's black bars on the left and right side because this is an old game. This is obviously aspect ratio is 4:3. Although in my screen it's 16:9, but it's a little thick. Let's just say that. I decided to put it on the 4:3 the recording, so it seems more what it's supposed to be, just like in the X-Files game. Yes, as you can see, this is going to be a very humorous game, and lots and lots of talking with voice acting. So for me, this is a bit easier. I just sit here and enjoy and fill the gaps when needed to be. Because yes, this is a talking game, if I remember correctly, mostly more asking subjects from different people, listening in, whatnot. A little bit puzzles, but not on heavy on that, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy that kind of thing. I think Disco Elysium could be closer. I don't remember if you can die in here. Let's make still save. Hopefully sounds and everything is okay. It's a little hard to get it right, but I might pause and check before I say. Yes, I had a test. I had to say I have been fighting with the sound and brightness and whatnot. Act 1, Mundy, start. And I miscorrectly typed that. Anyways. Yeah, I'll go and check if the recording is doing fine, and then we continue. Okay, everything should be okay. I'll show you how dark this is without any settings. Yeah, it's this dark. You can't really see anything, and it does make things difficult. And I don't know if I had a little too much the brightness, but I think it's better to have a little bit more than a little bit less, because obviously you don't know how the YouTube is going to affect the brightness and everything else. So hopefully this is okay. Where's my cursor? Because one problem with this fix is that if you have multiple monitors and there's no control, so you can go over to the second screen if you scroll too much on the right side. And that can actually pause the game because it jumps to the softwares or screens or whatever. Anyways, I digress. Let's start. Right click is, if I remember correctly, looking and commenting, left click moving and opening, and F1 is obviously this opens. Now I'm gonna fix that because it's annoying. Yeah, F1 is for save, load, quit, whatever. Let's see, we can... Come on.
Sapient pearwood comes from a plant so magical that it is totally impervious to all forms of magic, and so valuable that thieves have cut each other's throats to own it. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford a desk made out of it, so I made do with pine. It's a nice desk, though.
Yes. As you can see, he has snarky comments almost everything. Well, what you can interact. Let's go with the filing cabinet.
I had purchased a large indexed scroll rack to keep track of all the cases I was going to handle. The Mundy case made it 2.
Indeed. And coffee machine, because you do have to have coffee machine. I think you can left click this also. Let's start with that. Yeah, you can. Oh, come on.
Nothing like a cup of imp-made coffee to make me jittery and paranoid.
Okay, double clicking it actually.
Nothing like...
Can I... What happens if I double click desk?
I could hardly carry the desk around, even if I wanted to.
Okay, so it's picking up and probably using. What about filing cabinet?
All I had to do was track down Mundy and tell Carlotta where he was.
Yes, oh, let's check the coffee machine, because why not?
I'd purchased the imp-powered coffee bean machine from Cut-Me-Own-Throat Dibbler, the man whose name was the byword for quality. With CMOT Dibbler, you could say bye to quality. I'll say this for the ICBM. It made coffee strong enough to blow your head off. On the downside, the imp tended to use most of the beans to fuel its own addiction. Some days the poor thing was so jittery the coffee machine would vibrate off the shelf.
Interesting. ICBM, Intercontinental Ballistic Missiles. Anyways, and we do have an inventory. If I remember correctly, you need to click Lewton. Yes. What do we have in the inventory?
My purse might not have been my most valued possession, but I sure felt happier when it was full than when it was empty.
You and me both, Lewton. We don't need that right now. And the most important thing, notebook. This goes back. We have cases. A Mundy case. Can I? Okay. So right-clicking didn't do anything.
Carlotta had hired me to track down Mundy. At the beginning, that was pretty much all I knew about him.
Yes. And Milka?
The Milka was the tramp schooner that Mundy had come in on, and I knew it was berthed at the wharf.
Yes. Anything else? Carlotta, actually. As you can see, contacts and suspects.
Beautiful, seductive, and dangerous. Carlotta was worth a stare. She was trouble.
Most likely. But yeah, that will be filling up when we continue. And if I remember, you walk if you click once, like so. But I stop it. And if I remember correctly, double-clicking skips. Yes. And we have this map around here. Let's wait a bit. I think there's a flash of thunder and something else. Hopefully. Oh, yes. I think there should be something else also. There it is. Fortunately, we didn't have to wait for long. This is Ankh-Morpork. As you can see, not a nice place and very damp. And Dwarf is there. Let's start the game, shall we?
The wharf was on the upmarket side of the river, in the city of Ankh. The Morpork docks on the other side of the river were not a place wise travelers disembarked at. But then again, wise travelers tried to avoid Ankh-Morpork altogether. But if you traveled a lot, it was hard to miss, like malaria.
Right. There's that Mr. Scoplet, and let's see what we can find from here first.
I couldn't tell what the crates contained, and frankly, I didn't much care. Outgoing cargo wasn't going to tell me much. I needed to know whether Mundy had brought something with him.
Oh, really? Can I do anything with these?
The crates on the wharf were built on a large frame, sturdy and thick.
Oi! Get away from that!
A lot like the sailor. I couldn't carry the crates even if I wanted to.
Okay. Can I?
Something told me I wasn't going to learn anything useful from the sailor. The sailor was busy loading the ship, and I decided not to disturb him.
Right, so nothing in here, but... Oh, no. Let's check the ship first. Tramp schooner.
The Milka was a tramp schooner, one of the many ramshackle ships that plied their trade around the Circle Sea. From the looks of it, it should have sunk years ago. Even the rats thought twice before boarding it.
That's not good, even if the rats don't want to board it. I don't think there's anything else except to talk to Mr. Scoplet here.
Are you the first mate?
Arr! Shiver me timbers! Hoist the main brace!
Let's start again. Are you the first mate?
Aye, that I be.
You're not going to get any money off me, so you can drop the fake accent.
Sorry, you know how it is. Some people are stupid enough to fall for that sort of thing. What can I do for you?
Well. Let's start talking.
When do you sail?
As soon as we've got her loaded.
How much is passage?
Where are you looking to go?
I don't know. Sort, perhaps.
We've just come from there. It'll be a long time before we get back there again.
Did you bring any passengers?
Sure. We always try to take a couple of passengers. They pay their way, and if there's a big storm, they are very useful as to sacrifice to the angry sea gods. Of course, we tell people they were washed over the side.
Well, that is interesting. Remind me not to take a trip with that ship. Milka's passengers.
What were the passengers on the last voyage like?
There were 3 of them. One of them seemed all right, but the other 2, I don't know about them. There was something strange about them.
Strange about it. About those sacrifices.
Do you sacrifice passengers often?
No, the captain doesn't like it. He says it's bad for business. I said that we were advertising ourselves as offering an exciting tour of the Circle C. But he pointed out that most people would expect the tour to be above the water. If I'd had my way, we'd have thrown some people off the last voyage.
Bad omens?
The whole crew had a bad feeling of dread from the moment we set off.
Looking at the state of the ship, that doesn't come as a surprise.
Well, that is true. It's bad for business to throwing paying customers overboard. Unless they pay it first. Then it really doesn't matter.
Well, safe voyage, if that's possible.
Oh, we do want to talk
Still
to him.
here?
Not for much longer, I hope.
Let's see. Let's open the notebook. Do you know about Carlotta?
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
Doesn't ring any bells, I'm afraid.
Okay, mysterious passengers?
What was strange about these passengers?
I don't know. One of them seemed kind of foreign. I mean, more foreign than most.
Right. Let's... Come on. Oh, we need to go back. Back it is. Let's ask about Milka.
This is the Milka, isn't it?
That's what it says on the prow.
It's impossible to read anything written on that hull.
Just because you can't read it doesn't mean it isn't there. Reality is subjective, after all.
Don't get all existential with me.
It was more ontological than existential.
That's a really bad habit you've got there.
What? Oh, sorry. I picked up a bad case of philosophy in Ephoebe a couple of years ago, and I haven't been able to get rid of it since. Just can't seem to shake it off. Normal as anything 1 minute. Next moment, I'm wondering if anything can truly be said to exist. A bit of a drawback when you're supposed to be navigating.
Okay, assuming the existence of an objective shared universe, is this the Milka?
Yes.
Can I have a look on board?
No.
That better not be some kind of philosophical objection.
No one gets on board without Captain Jenkins' permission.
Where is the captain?
I don't know. But you could try the Cafe Ankh. He usually goes there when he's in Ankh-Morpork. If it exists, of course.
Do you mean Ankh-Morpork or the cafe? Or both? Yeah, it's always horrible to get bad case of philosophy. About Mundy.
Was there a man named Mundy on the last voyage?
It's funny you should ask that. You're the second person today to have an interest in Mundy.
Who was the first?
A dwarf. He didn't give his name. I don't think he was from round here, though.
What about Mundy? What was he like?
I don't pry into the passenger's business. But for a man who came on board pretty happy, he seemed pretty unsettled when he left. Not that I blame him. Something was definitely amiss on this last voyage.
Do you know where he is now?
Mundy? No. Like I said, I don't pry into passengers' business.
Unless you actually look through their luggage after they've been washed over the side.
Hey, what are you inferring?
I'm not inferring anything. I'm implying that you might have had a look at their luggage at one point.
If I had, I certainly wouldn't admit it to you.
Which either means you didn't look, or you didn't find anything of interest.
You better watch your steps, son. It's not good to make accusations like that.
Don't worry. Anything we discuss is strictly between you, me, and anyone else I tell.
Yes. It's strictly between us. Let's ask about the inquisitive stranger.
Since that was who I'd learnt about that from in the first place, I didn't feel I had much to gain by going over old ground.
Okay, fine. We don't have... There's nothing here. Did we get something new? No. Can I just ask Mundy case? Nope. So I think we... come on. Can I...
The first mate wasn't as hostile as I might have expected, but he wasn't particularly helpful either.
No. Yeah, that's the inventory. We have our notebook here. Come on, open it. So, what do we have? We have Carlotta, mysterious passenger, and inquisitive stranger. So basically, somebody else is also looking for Mundy. Okay, let's see. Oh, there's nothing there. Okay. There's the Cafe Ankh. Nice. Very nice. We are over there. Where? Oh, okay. You are not saying anything about it. We can go right and we can go forward. Anything else we can do here? Let's go here first. I'm interested to see what we can see.
The golem was loading wine barrels onto the cart, calmly and diligently. I would have pitied it, but there didn't seem much point. It was just magically animated clay.
Oh. We have a cart.
The cart was being loaded with barrels of wine. Apart from the wine, I can't say I was interested.
But I think we should be interested about...
good-looking crowbar. It looked like it had a good heft, too.
Let's...
I figured the golem wouldn't notice that the crowbar had gone missing. Not that I'm saying it didn't need it, just that I'd figured I'd get away with stealing it.
So we have that now. We can't go anywhere else. What is that?
You can't recall if the whiskey knocked you flat, or if everything was a blur when you met her. All that you remember are the tunes of a vampire, a melancholy tune about impending doom. I'll fetch your tankard, fill it to the brim. A cask of stale, broken drum ale. Wondering how long till you meet again on the bank of the Ankh. Too much to drink, you could barely even think. Too much bare heart. I thought I told you never to play that song again. Oh, sorry, Mr. Lewton. It's just I wasn't expecting you to call by tonight, and... You weren't expecting me? It's only been 8 years, Samael. I guess my memory ain't what it used to be. I don't know why Samael put up with my temper. He could have broken every bone in my body if he'd wanted to. But that's what made him special, I guess. That he'd take almost any kind of abuse from the clientele, and he'd still be there at the piano, playing better than anyone else in Ankh-Morpork.
Okay. That was interesting. Can I... We have Nobbe, Captain Jenkins. So let's start with the pianist.
The pianist, Samael, was one of Cafe Ankh's greatest assets. Not only was he a first-rate musician, but there was something about him that made you think it'd be a bad idea to start any trouble.
Null Vampir. Can
I decided not to disturb Samael while he was working.
Okay, that's a good idea. Nobbe. Let's check him first.
My old friend Nobby from the Watch. I hadn't spoken to him in ages.
Oh yeah, the Watch.
Hello, Nobby.
Hello, Lewton. How you been keeping?
I've been worse. Of course, I've been better, too. And I've been a hell of a lot better and not much worse.
That's good, isn't it?
Don't worry. If Commander Vimes sees us together, I'll tell him I made you talk to me.
It's not that I don't like you, Lewton. I mean, we was friends and all. But it's just, well,
It's just he'd bite your head off if he saw you talking to me.
he'd go spare.
Okay, Nobby. And Vimes, one of the characters in the books also. Let's just talk.
How you been keeping, Nobby? How's the rest of the watch?
Not so bad, Lewton. Been keeping myself busy. Been working with Sergeant Colon.
How is old Fatty Colon?
Still fat. I'll tell him I saw you.
No, you won't.
Okay, so maybe I won't. I was just being trite.
Polite.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, what about the old days?
I guess I never really understood why it was that you didn't get kicked out as well, Nobby.
Me? I ain't never done nothing wrong.
Don't give me that, Nobby. When you were serving as quartermaster under the Duke of Pseudopolis, it was widely known that several items from the stores were found in your kit.
That was all above board. I had all the paperwork for him.
Your kit at the time consisted of 2 warehouses. I just think Vimes had a grudge against me.
Lewton, I know you're my friend and all, but you took a bribe.
Are you trying to tell me you never took a bribe?
Never.
The ham from Harga's House of Ribs?
Evidence.
The pocket clock from the Suicide in the Shades?
I wanted something to remember him by.
The money in the petty cash box?
Mislaid by someone.
Misappropriated by you.
I never misanthropated anything.
I just want to understand why it was that you could get away with all your petty theft, and I couldn't get away with one act of weakness.
Well, you see,
Just say it, Nobby. I'm not gonna hold it against you.
well, I reckon Mr. Vimes thinks that a bit of petty theft ain't something to get excited about. I ain't admitting anything, mark you. Nothing's ever been proved. Compared to some of the stuff that goes on in this city. But someone who's taken a bribe, well, that's like allowing the rich to avoid justice.
That wasn't why I did it.
I know. But you know Vimes.
Yeah, I know Vimes all right.
Okay, let's talk about Vimes.
What's Vimes up to these days?
He got married.
Married? He was only ever married to his job.
Nah, straight up. He married into nobility.
Old Stoneface in the nobility. That'd drive him crazy.
Well, he's sort of nobility himself now.
What?
They made him commander of the watch. And we got a great new premises down on Pseudopolis Yard. They're full of paintings and vases and all sorts.
Full?
Well, maybe not as full as when we moved in, but pretty full.
I'll have to call round sometime.
Yeah, that'd be good. We got a lot more members in the watch these days. And we got a new dartboard.
Life in the fast lane, huh? Do you seriously think it's a good idea for me to call around? I mean, Vimes isn't gonna like it.
Whatever you may think about him, he's loyal to his job. I can't say he'll welcome you with open arms, but he won't stop you.
Well, that's good to know. Let's ask you about things. Let's start with Mundy.
Do you know anything about a man named Mundy?
I'm not getting drawn into anything while I'm off duty. Wait till I'm back at the yard.
Okay, Milka.
Have you heard of the Milka? It arrived in town a short time ago.
How long ago?
3 days.
That's strange.
Why?
Well, there's been a string of odd murders in the last 3 days.
What do you mean, odd? I mean, this is Ankh-Morpork we're talking about.
I'm not sure I should discuss the details with a pavilion.
A civilian, Nobby. How much have you had to drink?
I'm as sober as the day I was born.
That's a frightening thought.
So interesting. So there are mysterious murders which coincide Milka's dates. Do you know anything about Carlotta?
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
I'm not getting drawn into anything while I'm off duty. Wait till
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I pressed the button, but apparently we are not talking about that. Mysterious passengers.
Do you know anything about some passengers that came into town by ship a few days ago?
That's not much to go on.
You're a corporal in the watch. You're supposed to have a keen, insightful mind.
They brought that regulation in after I joined.
Well, you truly are epitome of proper corporal in the watch. Anyways, inquisitive stranger.
Has there been a dwarf around asking questions?
Can't this wait till I get back to the yard? I'm off duty.
Okay, you're not talking to me about those mysterious murders. Tell me about
Since
those.
that was who I'd learnt about that from in the first place, I didn't feel I had much to gain by going over old ground.
Okay, we are not asking about those. I think we're done with you for now.
I'll catch you later, Nobby. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, don't get caught doing anything I wouldn't do.
Yeah, as you can see, this is quite a lot of talking. Fortunately, they're doing the talking, so I can keep quiet. And there is that certain thing, you have to ask right questions to right people to get the story move on. So there might be a situation where you haven't asked something about someone and you can't move on before you ask about it. If you catch my drift, what's there on the left side? Oh, interesting. I noticed the captain over there, bar. Can we take anything from there?
My old friend, the bar. I was tempted to order a drink, but I was working.
Yes, we are working.
I suppressed the urge to get myself a drink, although I could really have used one.
Okay, fine. We are not...
Are you Captain Jenkins?
Oh,
That depends on who's asking.
Don't play games. I'm just after a few answers.
That song really put you in a bad mood, didn't it?
If you're trying to get me angry, it's working.
No need to get upset. You need to drink more and think less.
If I drank any more than I do now, I'd never think again.
That's the ticket.
okay. Let's just talk and see what he has to say.
So, you're the captain of the Milka.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately,
ordinarily I'd be happy being a captain of a fine ship like the Milka, but after this last voyage I'm thinking of taking up farming.
tough journey.
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm still asking, and I almost guessed the answer.
What was so bad about the last voyage?
I told you I don't want to talk about it.
Sometimes it helps to talk about these things.
Why would I want to talk about it?
All right, let's put that another way. I want to talk about it, and the sooner I finish talking to you, the sooner you can get back to drinking.
By that logic, my best bet would be to just ignore you and carry on drinking.
I was never much good at logic. I did home economics at school.
Okay. Can I board the Milka?
I was hoping you'd let me have a look around on the Milka.
I was hoping that I was going to make enough money to be able to buy myself a harem of exotic dancers called Chantel. But it looks like we're both going to be disappointed.
That's oddly specific. Let's go west. There it is. Notebook. And down. Up we go. Mundy.
I understand you were carrying a man named Mundy on your ship.
What's it to you?
I was hoping to find him.
Owes you money, does he?
No, he's an old friend.
Him? You must think I'm as drunk as I look.
Aren't you?
Well, okay, so maybe I am. What did you want to know?
Where is he now?
I've no idea. We picked him up in Sort a couple of weeks ago and we brought him here. That's about all I want to know about him.
Did he say what he was coming to Ankh-Morpork for?
I think he said he was meeting someone.
Who?
Now, I can barely remember my own name, let alone something I overheard through a doorway last week.
Doorway. Okay. Let's ask about Milka.
The Milka looks like a good ship.
You know nothing about ships, do you? She looks like exactly what she is. A rundown tramp schooner with no future.
Any chance I could look around her anyway?
All I want to do is get the cargo loaded and get out of this god's-forsaken city. I don't need people snooping around on board.
Okay, that's no-go then. Carlotta?
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
There's no one I know.
Mysterious passengers?
On your last voyage, there were 3 passengers, right? Mundy and 2 others.
You tell me. You seem to know more about my ship than I do.
I just want to know what you can remember about them.
I remember that we picked them up in Ecclepon, and I know they had a lot of cargo. Oh, and one was a woman, and one was a man, I think.
You think he was a man?
There was something particularly foreign about him. I'm not sure what.
Where's Ecclepon?
Up near the hub. God's forsaken place. All there is to do there is drink and eat fish sandwiches with no tops on.
Sounds like a long way from the Circle C.
We got lost, all right. It's easy to mix up port and starboard when you've drunk too much port.
Are they still on board?
Nope. We dropped them in Ankh-Morpork. And before you ask, I have no idea what they were doing here. That's not my business.
I was beginning to realize that Captain Jenkins only had 2 questions to ask his passengers. Where are you going? And how much money have you got?
Oh, that's a good policy, if I'm completely honest. Inquisitive stranger.
Has there been a dwarf around asking questions?
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Okay, what else? Mysterious murders, have you heard about those?
Do you know anything about the recent murders in Ankh-Morpork?
I know that there are always murders in Ankh-Morpork. See Ankh-Morpork and die, they say. Often in the same day.
That's not a very helpful answer.
It wasn't a very sensible question.
Honestly, Captain Jenkins has the point in this. According to Milka?
Is there any way I can persuade you to let me on your ship?
Is there any way I can persuade you to go away?
I guess we
I'll
can.
see you around, Captain.
I might as well save. Okay. I have a sneaking suspicion I should meet the dwarf. We got Zuda Police Yard, Lewton's office. Oh, I didn't realize we got that open. I'll think that I'll check my office, I'll go to the wharf, and then Zuda Police Yard. That sounds like a plan.
On an ordinary night, I'd sit around waiting for business. But this night, business was coming to me, and bringing trouble with it. Business, I didn't mind. But trouble was an unwelcome guest. And like all unwelcome guests, it was hard to ask it to leave. And by the 3rd day, it was generally wearing your shirts and leaving its stuff in your bathroom.
Hello, Mr. Lewton. I've been expecting you.
I should hope so. This is my office. How'd you get in?
Through the door. It was only locked. I know all about doors.
Good. Use this one to get out.
I have a message for you, Mr. Lewton.
I don't take messages from strangers.
Then let me introduce myself. My name is Mr. Al-Khali.
I don't take messages from dwarves named after cities.
My name isn't important.
You seem to think it was.
I've come to warn you to stay clear of the Mundy case.
I'll bear that in mind. Now get out.
If you don't stay clear of the Mundy case, something untoward may happen to you.
This is Ankh-Morpork. Something untoward may happen to me whether I investigate this case or not. Now either you get out or I'll throw you out.
Don't say I didn't warn you, Mr. Lewton.
Don't say I didn't ignore you, Mr. Al-Khali. A dwarf named after the Klatchian city of Al-Khali. And a threat. This case was getting more interesting by the minute. All we needed was a troll and a member of the undead, and we could open an ethnic comedy on Broadway.
At least we found out who is looking for us. Let's check. Did he manage to find anything?
Sapient pair.
No.
It's a nice test.
So, I'll go to the Dwarf and see what we can do there. And we have new things to ask. So we have this scoplet over there. Anything? Can we... Oh...
A crate. What more could I say?
I think I know how we can get to the ship. But before that, let's talk scoplet.
The first mate wasn't as hostile as I...
Okay, yes.
Not for much longer, I hope.
Okay. Do you know Al-Khali?
I gave the description of Al-Khali to the first mate, and he recognized it.
Yeah, that's the dwarf who was asking about Mundy before. Strange little fellow.
A word of advice. Don't use phrases like strange little fellow when you're talking about dwarves. Especially not drunken dwarves, or dwarves like Al-Khali who seem to think they're invulnerable.
Strange little fellow. So this means we have everything we know about this stuff, because now we know the mysterious stranger is Al-Khali, so we don't need to ask about that anymore. Mysterious murders, do you know anything about those?
Do you know anything about the recent murders in Ankh-Morpork?
Sorry, I wouldn't know anything about that.
Okay, he does not know anything about that. Anything else?
When do you sail?
As soon as we've got...
How much is passage?
Where are you looking to go?
I don't know. Sort, perhaps.
We've just... It'll be a long time...
Did you bring any...
Sure. We always try... They pay their... Of course.
Okay, these are the same questions again.
Well, safe voyage, if that's possible.
Let's see if I can actually... Let's see if this works, because we now have the... crowbar. Can I use it?
Perhaps the single crate would be a better choice.
Okay.
I didn't much like being jammed into a crate and loaded onto the ship, but I could think of worse fates. Like being jammed into a crate full of rats and loaded onto the ship. What's your name then, little fellow? The hold was dark and dank, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone.
Most likely you're not. Let's save. I'll take a quick break and I'll be right back. Okay, let's continue. We have...
The hold was full of crates for the outgoing voyage. They were of little interest to me.
Okay, label.
I thought I could see a label amongst the wreckage. I pulled the label out of the wreckage. It had writing on it that I couldn't understand.
Well, that was quite dramatic. Flotsam.
The bilge water was littered with flotsam that looked like the remains of a smashed crate. It was just flotsam.
It was just flotsam. Anything else? I don't think there's anything else. I can go here or here. What do we have here? Okay. We are behind. I will go and check this lair? Do I want to check that?
It looked lived in. The question was, by what? There was nothing of value in the debris.
Why can we see the lair? And we have a label.
I'd pulled the label out of the flotsam in the bilge water of the Milka.
Okay. We don't need that at the moment. So there's something, but what? And what do we need to do with that? Probably don't want to... Well, we can't even interact with it. We can go up. Can we go down? I don't think we can. I mean, down on the ship, not down on the cargo hold. Let's go there then. Yeah, this is going to be, I think, quite...
The doors led into the passengers' stateroom. They had intriguing written all over them. Possibly because a bored sailor had engraved it there.
Okay. I probably shouldn't double click when I'm going through. Well, it didn't really make any change. Books, bunk.
A bunk bed like any other.
Cozy, cozy. There is something.
A perfectly ordinary bunk bed.
Can I
I
use it?
searched a bunk and found a small scrap of cardboard. It could have been anything. There was a number on the back. Either a 6 or a 9. It was hard to say.
Okay, good.
I searched one of the bunks but found nothing useful, and nothing I wanted to think too closely about.
Yeah, it's good idea to apparently double click stuff, so this is quite easy control. Basically, double click, use, right click, check. But yeah, I have to be careful so that I don't miss anything. Is this it? This Lewton? Well, you're not blocking anyone.
I considered searching the bunk again in the hope of finding something new. It was an easy thought to dismiss.
Okay, so have I done everything in here?
I searched one of the bunks. A bunk bed.
Okay, I think we're done here.
I'd managed to remain hidden on the ship, but I knew my luck couldn't last forever, because I'd stopped being lucky around age 12. The first mate looked less than happy, but I don't think he saw who I was as I dived in elegantly onto the Ankh. Fortunately, the crust of the Ankh was soft that night, and I escaped both injury and discovery, although I needed 2 baths just to feel dirty.
Okay, I might end... Well, I don't know. I could still continue a little bit further, to be honest. We haven't really done that much. So let's see. I don't think there's anything we can do here. We are in Lewton's office. Do I want to go to the wharf and check if anything changed there? I could. Okay, so definitely not going back in there anymore. Can I talk to you?
The first mate wasn't as hot.
Okay.
Still here? Not for my...
Can I show you the...
I pulled the label out of the flotsam in the bill.
Okay.
I decided it wasn't a good idea to give away the fact that I'd stolen aboard his ship. I decided...
Yeah, so we can't show those. Okay, obviously Pseudopolis Yard is one thing where we need to go. I'll go and see the Cafe Ankh first. He's gone. Can I show you? Can I actually talk to you?
I decided not to disturb.
Okay, we cannot talk to him. Nobody is here. Fine. There goes the shadow.
Hello again.
Hello yourself.
Okay. Can I show you this?
I didn't want to show Captain Jenkins anything that might.
Okay, so we
I'd
are not showing. Oh, that was not my intention. Nope.
Hello again.
Hello yourself.
Do we have? We could ask about the dwarf. Al-Khali. Do you know about that?
What do you know about a dwarf named Al-Khali?
There's no one I know.
So basically, we need to go to the pseudopolis. Yeah. Okay, that's unless there's something in. No, there's definitely nothing in here. Let's check that again. That's so cute. Can I talk to him?
There was no use trying to talk to the golem. It couldn't speak.
Well, fair enough, fair enough. So that is the only place where we can go. Eerily quiet. Okay, I'll probably save. Nobby, Bell, Lewton. Let's
There was an ordinary bell on the reception desk. There was something about it that really made you want to strike it. I really wanted to ring the bell, but given that Nobby was right in front of me, it would just have wound him up.
Okay, that's true. It seems like we cannot do anything else except talk to Nobby.
You could say this about Nobby. Deep down, he was a good man. Well, deep down, he was probably a man. Good might be stretching it a bit.
Okay, let's talk to him.
Hello again, Nobby.
Hello, Lewton.
Did I disturb you?
No. What made you think that?
Well, there appears to be smoke coming from your ear.
Oh, that. Well, I've been working hard, you see.
Working so hard that your ears have caught fire. Don't worry about it, Nobby. It's not like I'm going to report you.
I have been working, see?
Oh, sure. I never doubted it for a second.
Let's just talk normally first.
How's work treating you then?
Not so bad, Lewton. I've been busy, though. Rushed off my feet.
Yeah, I can tell.
So, let's... First things first. Can I show you the label?
Can you read this?
Give me a break, Lewton. I don't know everything.
Okay.
Does this mean anything to you?
No.
Fine, we've asked about those things. So, now starts the questioning of things. Mundy?
Do you know anything about a man named Mundy?
Never heard of him.
Okay. Milka?
Have you learned anything about the Milka?
Yeah, not as such, no.
You go to great lengths to conceal how little work you do, don't you?
Hey.
Yeah, he definitely does it. About Carlotta?
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
Never heard of him.
And mysterious passengers?
I don't suppose you've investigated the passengers on the Milka, have you?
Of course I have.
Sorry, but you're not the most, diligent of investigators.
I work as hard as any man on my rank.
You're the only man of your rank. There's 3 dwarfs, 2 troll, a woman and a zombie with the same rank as you, but you're the only human male. I know you're human because you carry a bit of paper to prove it, signed by the midwife. The maleness, I'll take that on trust.
Do you want me to help you or not?
What have you got?
Well, I interviewed one of the passengers.
What did you learn?
That's official watch business.
You didn't learn anything, did you?
Not as such, no.
Any chance I could interview this passenger?
I don't see why not. She's down in the Cafe Ankh now.
Well, that's something, I guess.
Okay. Do you know Al-Khali?
Do you know a dwarf by the name of Al-Khali?
Never heard of him.
How did you know he was male, then?
You can't trick me. Everyone knows dwarves don't use the female pronoun.
Okay.
Mind you, I've always wondered what a female pronoun was.
One of nature's wonderful mysteries, Nobby.
Is it normally kept covered or what?
I'm going to leave it to your rather uninventive imagination, Nobby.
Okay. Murders?
Any word on these murders?
Nothing yet. But our top investigators are working on the case 24 hours a day.
Oh no.
Nobby?
Yeah?
Are you one of those crack investigators?
Yeah? Why?
Never mind. Just a thought.
Okay. Yeah. I guess the only thing we can do now is go back to the Cafe Ankh. But that is for the next episode. As you can see, this is quite a story heavy game. Maybe not some and lots of talking. Fortunately, they're doing the talking. I just click things and move on. But I do enjoy this game. I have these bits and pieces I remember about this game, and I think they are funny. Hopefully you find it funny also. So if you're interested about this game, I definitely continue this as fast as I can, and definitely I'm going to play this through, barring that any problems with technology makes that impossible. It would seem not. So far everything is working fine, and again I said I have a backup to try that emulate the Windows 95 and go through that route, but so far it seems fine. Game's working, no problems with that. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna pump this out as fast as possible. So if you enjoyed this episode, and anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. So anyways, I hope I see you next time. Until then, goodbye.